Now, I know you're not a pilot, but you have been here to Farnborough before.
I came to Farnborough for the first time 3 years ago. As part of the initial selection process, we did some of our medical tests here, but I actually came back again a few days ago, have another go on the centrifuge here.
On the centrifuge, because you had to do that, of course, for your initial training before you could go up in the rocket.
That's right.
And what about the centrifuge this time? You came back and you did it for us.
Well, I did the centrifuge again, really to show some of the differences between the type of G-forces that I was expecting, that I endured on my space flight, and the differences between some of the things that the pilots do.
OK, well, let's have a look at you doing it now. Thank you.
OK, and Helen, are you sitting comfortably?
I'm fine.
Then we'll begin at, this will be a bog standard 3G run, 1G per second onset rate, and then 15 seconds at peak G and down again.
OK.
And then we'll just go up in 1G increments to find out the maximum G at which you're happy to do your stuff.
OK, fine.
So, ready here to 3G, whenever you are, John.
So I'm back with my old friend, the centrifuge. The last time I was here was during the astronaut selection, where we used the centrifuge to see how our bodies would cope under conditions of, well, the accelerations we might experience under launch and possible landing, re-entry through the atmosphere. But this centrifuge is also used for other purposes. For instance, to check out how pilots and their equipment cope when they're pulling different types of G-loads, where the G might not be so steady. Okay, let's take it to the next stage. Fast jet pilots, for instance those that might be working in the F-16 or in EFA, they may well be pulling higher G-loads for shorter time. Astronauts will pull moderate G-loads for much longer periods of time. Okay, let's go for it. This is now 7G. If I were in EFA, there could well be another 2G to go.
It's not the speed of the spacecraft that poses a danger, but the acceleration. To complete your journey in 3 hours would mean accelerating up to phenomenal speeds incredibly quickly. This would subject your body to a huge gravitational force, around 4 times the normal level. What would that do to your average holidaymaker, businessman, or rock star? Here at QinetiQ Research Centre, I'm going to find out. It might date back to the 50s, but this centrifuge is capable of inflicting some serious damage. The military use it to prepare fighter pilots for extreme G-force.
2G set up.
The same sort of pressure the body would experience on a space flight. Aged 46, I've survived Iron Maiden world tours and drinking sessions with Ozzy Osbourne. But am I now about to meet my nemesis?
As the G comes on, you may find you get some grey out, which will start off on the outside of your vision and work its way in.
The faster the centrifuge spins, the greater the G and the stronger the downward pull on my body. If I can't handle it, the doctor steps in. I hope.
If it's all going terribly wrong, if you feel that you're out of control or the blackout's coming right into that, you just call out down, 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 and we'll stop you pretty well instantly from the middle.
What are these?
If you do need in a hurry the sick bags, there's a whole selection of them in the door.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 sick bags.
And if you miss the sick bags, you clean up, we'll bring them up. I'll close up now.
Okay.
Stand by. There we go.
As the centrifuge speeds up and the G increases, the danger is my brain will be starved of blood, and if this happens, first I'll start losing my vision, and then I'll black out.
Well, on an aeroplane at takeoff, it's about 1.5 G. Oh, and there is 1.5 G, and I'm rapidly going up now to 2.8 G. Well, at 2.8 G, I can really feel my shoulders start to come down. My arms are heavy as lead. I'm really having to move them up there now. God, I couldn't hang on to a gin and tonic at this sort of G.
Never mind the drinks, over 2.5 G, you ought to be worrying about your aeroplane. Expose a modern jet to this sort of pressure and its wings will bend.
Oh my God, he's taken it to 3.6 G. That's more than you're allowed on any fairground anywhere in the world. Woo-hoo!
Well, that's my introduction to G-force. So far, I've been up to 3.6 G. That's enough to pull bits off my 757, but not quite the 4 G-force I'll be feeling on my 3-hour space flight to Australia.
Okay, Bruce, final brief on this one. This is a 4G run, 4.0 G.
Folks, I'm done. I'm off into space for my holidays. I've packed my toothbrush, I've got my G-suit, I've got my protective helmet, I've got the whole lot, and I'm ready to go to... Oh, here comes 4G, and we're going into orbit. Woo-hoo!
Sitting in a small seat in Concorde was one thing, but how many people would be prepared to go through this to get halfway around the world in 180 minutes?
God, blimey! Feel that!
Unless you can beat the laws of science, I just can't see this spaceflight lark catching on. With that sort of acceleration and deceleration, your average traveller just isn't going to wear the G.
Okay, well done, Bruce. That was 4G.
Me? I'll take whatever they can throw at me.
If Bruce is all right, we'll go to 5.6 G maximum.
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Hey, hold on to your hat. I'll tell you what, your granny wouldn't like this one bit. Me, I'm loving it. See you later.
G will effectively increase the weight of the body, so that at 5G you feel 5 times heavier. G can be fatal, and in simple terms you can stop the blood flow to the brain, and that can kill you.
This chap is now at 5G in the machine, and after just 6 seconds his brain is so starved of blood he goes unconscious.
Oh, down, 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 Andy. Oh, went a bit too late there, mate.
Now he was a young, fit pilot. So how would a chain-smoking 40-year-old cope in there? Well, to find out what we need is a chain-smoking 40-year-old. Me. Is it safe?
Yes, climb aboard and mind the buckle as you sit down.
Have I got to be strapped in?
Yes.
You know, I'm really quite scared about
No,
this.
don't worry about it. Your heart rate will be monitored at all times.
When do you stop it? When it gets to what?
When it's a straight line.
Stop, I'm going to die. I just know I'm going to die.
No, you'll sit back and enjoy the ride.
Out. Go on. And I'm going to clench my buttocks when it gets bad.
If at any time
You want to stop, then you call out down, 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 and we'll stop it. You may feel slightly nauseous. Nothing you can do about it.
Just be British about it.
very much so.
Right.
If you're happy with all that, then we'll set up the
Run and start.
Go ahead. Let's feel what this G business is.
Okay.
Stand by. Prepare.
That's easy. That's not so easy.
He's not quite sure what to expect, and I think it's probably coming as a bit of a surprise to him.
God, it's like having an elephant sitting on my chest.
The blood is actually draining away from his brain at this point. All the organs in his body as well are feeling heavy, including the heart, so that tends to descend about an inch or so and change his shape into some pear shape.
try and lift my arm up now.
His body weight at the moment is heading towards about 1/3 of a tonne. You can see quite clearly the effect of the increased G is dragging the soft tissues of his face down, so that it's actually getting a very saggy, rather sort of elderly appearance. I'm not at all convinced he's enjoying himself here.
I would not be able to fly an aeroplane feeling like that.